Welcome, my name is Christopher Hayward. I'm the Vice Principal for Middle Division here at ACS International, and I'm just going to talk you through some slides outlining the subject offerings at IGCSE, which our Year 3 students will pick up in January 2022. And this is leading into the subject selection form, which will be completed in the coming weeks. So some information on the IGCSE program. It's a very well established and internationally recognized program. It's been around for over 30 years and is certainly tried, tested and trusted. And here at ACS International we have a very consistently strong track record within the IGCSE. You can see there that the pass rate is regularly above, always has been for the last number of years, above 90%, and particularly high last year, although take 2020 with a pinch of salt. Obviously a great achievement, but it was a very different year for assessment from previous years due to the pandemic. But you can also see there the distinction rate. That's for students who achieved an A or an A star, so round about the 50% mark fairly consistently each year. And not only a high percentage rate for distinction, but also every year except 2017 there, you can see there has been a top in the world mark by at least one student. So we can see that that basically means they get the top mark in that subject or joint top mark with other students in the world. And you can see there that mathematics certainly features quite strongly in most years, I think. Some information on the structure of IGCSEs here at ACS International. All students will take 7 or 8 subjects across the 2 years, so that's starting in January 2022, and the exams will take place towards the end of 2023. There are some core subjects that all students must do, and first of all that's English language, or for our non-native speakers possibly English as a second language, which we'll touch on in a moment. Mathematics, all students will take, and a second language, which is the one that you are currently studying in Year 2. On top of that, there'll also be a core science, must take at least one science, and a core humanities subject, so there'll be one from that block of humanities. And then after that, there are 3 choices that most students can make, although if you're a pre-IGCSE student, then you will take just a choice out of option 1 and option 3. All students will have PE, but you can also on top of that take it as an option and do an exam in the IGCSE course for PE as well. So within the core humanities, you can see there are 5 different subjects there, which we will talk about on one of the subsequent slides. The core sciences, you must take at least one of biology, chemistry or physics, and then the 3 options block for subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3 as mentioned a moment ago. So you can see the choices within those subject areas there. But first a note on mother tongue. All Singaporean students must take their mother tongue as a language option. But if you've been granted an exemption by the MOE, then the school must receive a copy of this exemption letter. So it's very, very important that if you do have that exemption, you get that letter. We must have that in writing, okay? So make sure that you do that if you are one of those students. And just a brief note about the IGCSE languages. So ESOL is not an option for mainstream students, and the approval for that will come from the English department, but you'll be guided on that and made aware if that's the best option for you. Students who completed the pre-IGCSE course must choose Mandarin Chinese or First Language Chinese as their language option. And then there is a new language option in one of the option blocks, option 1, and this is an additional language, so it's in addition to the English that you will do and the language you're currently studying at Year 2, and it's a new language of French, so it'd be your 3rd language if you include English and your Year 2 language, and this will, if you're interested in doing another language, this is the option for you. But there is a note on my next slide about this. If you remain with us and go on to do the IB diploma program, then you will come across ab initio subjects for languages. And an ab initio level language is one which has not been studied before. So if you do take that French as an additional language, pick up beginner's French in Year 3, you would not be able to sit French ab initio in the IB diploma. There are some restrictions for the IGCSE courses you may choose. So first of all, additional mathematics is really dependent on your Year 2 results, and this will be approved on a case-by-case basis in the mathematics faculty, and you'll see some slides on the entry requirements for that in a moment. If students opt to do triple science and additional mathematics, they have to meet all the criteria to do so. So just being good at maths doesn't get you entry into the science, for example, to the triple science. Students cannot choose both business studies and economics from the humanities, and students cannot choose both geography and global perspectives from the humanities. So we will look at that in a moment about these subjects within the humanities to choose. And just a note there that the final decision concerning the option choices is subject to approval by the relevant heads of faculty and me, the Vice Principal for Middle Division, based on your academic performance and the potential that you're showing within those subjects. So let's take a moment to look at the IGCSE subjects. This presentation will be available on the school website, so you can come back and look at this at your leisure. And just read over it again if I'm going too quickly. So I won't read everything on each slide. I will go over some of them fairly quickly, but do be assured that you can go back and have another look. So first of all, the mathematics. We offer 2 mathematics courses, international mathematics, which everybody will do, and that's the syllabus code there, 0607. But also, you've heard me mention additional mathematics, and if you've done well in Year 2 mathematics, that may be an option you choose to select. And so you will do 2 maths courses. And the entry requirement for additional maths is at least a grade B in the end of Year 2 exam, or if you're a new student, 75% in the entry test. And this is really suitable for those who want to pursue mathematics, engineering, economics, and similar subjects in future. And looking at English language, which everyone will do unless you're an ESOL student, the school has a strong record here of the distinction grades, A star and A, with 64% last year. And this is the structure of the course. You'll hear more from your English teachers about this, I'm sure. And there's also an option to do English literature. So this was one of the options. And again, your English teacher will be able to tell you more about the course. It's structured differently from English language, with 3 papers there, paper 1, paper 3, and paper 4, and what they involve listed there. Moving on to the sciences at IGCSE, on offer is biology, chemistry, and physics, and they all have a similar structure of 3 papers, paper 2, paper 4, and paper 6, the alternative to practical. Now, many students may wish to take triple science, and there are 4 criteria that must be met in order to do so, which you can read there on the screen. And if you meet these 4 criteria, you may be entitled to do triple science if you so wish to do so. And this will open up the pathway to do 2 higher level sciences when you get to Year 5 and hopefully stay with us and do the IB diploma program. And just a note about relevant course requirements going beyond the diploma program onto university, because choosing the sciences in particular may limit what you can do at IBDP level, particularly with higher level and standard level subjects, which then lead to what you may or may not be able to do at university. So just take a note of the different requirements here, quite commonly for engineering, medicine, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, psychology, and science-related subjects, or architecture, because the decision that you make at IGCSE may impact this selection. And we referred to ESOL earlier, English as a Second Language, and you'll be guided if this is the appropriate course for you. So a little bit more information here about the ESOL course. So if this is the appropriate course for you, you'll be guided on that by your English teacher. but you should just be aware that students will either do English language or the ESOL course. Now looking at the Humanities faculty offer 5 courses at IGCSE, and you're probably familiar with Geography and History from Year 2, but the other 3 on offer are Business Studies, Economics, and Global Perspectives. So I'm just going to share a slide on each of Business Studies, Economics, and Global Perspectives as their new courses, but like with every option in the IGCSE, there's plenty of information in the handbook found on the school website. So for Business Studies, you can see there what Business Studies covers and the topics and content within the course. Like all the other IGCSEs, a 2-year course. And for Economics, similarly. And here a brief overview of Global Perspectives. Moving on to some information about physical education, PE. As mentioned earlier, there is a core PE that all students will take, compulsory PE, 1 lesson a week. And there's also the opportunity as one of the 3 options choices to take PE as an exam subject to do the IGCSE exam and gain that qualification. So here's just a little information on physical education as an IGCSE. And the assessment is split into 2 parts, a practical exam and a written exam. And within the practical assessment, these are the sports that could be assessed as part of that. So do speak to your PE teacher if this is of interest to you. The arts options at IGCSE level are music, drama, and art and design. They're all assessed slightly differently, as you can see there on the screen. And you should read more about each of these subjects in the information booklet if you have an interest in doing one of the arts at IGCSE. So although that's a brief overview of many of the subjects offered at IGCSE, more information on each of them can be found in the information booklet, which you should already have access to, but it is available on the school website if you look for forms and important information. You will find on the right-hand side under Important Information the Year 3 IGCSE Information Booklet, which does look something like this, obviously not 2019 as the date, but there's more information on every subject there for you to look at. You should already have a copy, but do go there for more information if you have questions about individual subjects, and of course talk to your subject teacher as well. So just need to run through the selection process and make sure that you have note of all the key dates and the next steps required. So first of all, you will submit your options choices, your subject selection online. So to do that, you'll go to the ACS International website. From there, you will see portals in the top right-hand side. And this will take you to a link to Firefly down there on the left-hand side. Log into Firefly with your school login details, and you will see the options form under 2022 IGCSE subject options. So here you will see these screens to complete, all on one form on Firefly. You'll go through these, follow the notes there. It should be fairly self-explanatory as you fill it out. Just remember to look at the information in the colored boxes to make sure you follow the instructions carefully. and some information on the form, which you will read when you log in to Firefly. And now really to highlight some important dates coming up. So you have until the 17th of September to complete your selection and complete the form. After that date, no changes will be permitted other than on one day and one day only, and that's on the 5th of November, where changes will need to be made with a hard copy and have the parent or guardian's signature and handed in to the appropriate person at school. That's very, very important. And I just want to talk a little bit about university considerations, because although it might seem a while off still, you probably have started to get an idea of what you might like to study at university, and that will depend on what subject and results you get at IBDP. And obviously, as you've already seen, the pathway into IBDP and certain subjects at higher level can be dependent on your IGCSEs. So here's some information about what IBDP requirements there are to enter certain courses at university. So do have a look at this slide covering some popular courses at university. And a few more of the courses, university courses, that may be impacted by your DP selection. And just some key people to know about and get in touch if you have questions. There's obviously me, there's the division coordinator for both junior and middle, and also our director of administration. So do get in touch with any of us if you need assistance with the process. You should be familiar with who we all are, I think. And finally, some important dates. I've already mentioned the 17th of September is when the form submission closes, but prior to that, next week on Wednesday the 25th, we do have a Zoom session for parents at 4 o'clock, and the purpose of that will be to answer questions about this process or questions that have arisen from this presentation, but those questions must be submitted using a Google form, which is being sent out as well with the invite to the Zoom session. So please, if you have a question about this process that you would like answered, fill it out on the Google form, and we will give you the answer on Wednesday the 25th in the online session. On the 5th of November will be the one day to change your subjects if you want to change after the 17th of September. And then at the very end of term, 17th of November, you should receive your subject choices and have that confirmed by the school ready for next year. So thank you all for listening and for your attention. I know it's very difficult going through an online presentation. I would have much rather delivered it to you in person, but I do appreciate your attention to this and all of the key information that I am sharing. Do please ask questions, use the Google form, speak to your tutor or your subject teachers, or come and see me as well. So thank you very much.